I'm really doing well. I am just so excited to talk about strengths, and most people don't really honor their strengths and really think about them and hold them tight. So I am thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I am excited too. I'm going to do a couple of okay, here we go. Getting all set up so I can monitor the chat. I have to have a job. I okay, so I had to write a lengthy amazing introduction about you because you have done so much out there. It's this one that chat will not work. That will have you'll have
Oh,
to do that one
sorry.
on your phone. Yeah.
Okay.
Um just incredible background on really empowering people, working in their career, giving them confidence. And you said, hey, let's do an exercise. So I'm pretty excited about that. Y'all, you got to get ready. We're going to do an exercise. Okay, we've got, oh, great. Good morning, Tina. Um, that is amazing. So we've always got someone jumping in ready to do some interaction with us. So what kind of exercise were you going to do, Suzanne? We're not talking like this. I didn't bring my weights.
Oh, come on.
I barely can lift my coffee this morning.
Well, it's morning. Well, maybe we have some morning people out there, but
Yeah.
actually, exercise is really good, by the way. It is excellent to get your blood moving. It takes you out of any anxiety that you would have. So that's not a bad thing when we're thinking about grounding to our strengths. But I think we'll give people a break today.
Oh. Okay, but we're still gonna you're gonna still make them exercise, right?
Yes,
All
yes.
right.
And this
Oh,
is
good.
more of a mindset exercise. But first, could I just see where people are from and welcome everybody? People like to either put in, maybe the company you work at or the nonprofit or where you're calling in from around the country, just to say hi and get to know who's out there.
Amazing. Yes. Oh, I
Oh,
see some
somebody's got
people. Yeah.
LinkedIn user there. They don't want me to call on them.
Uh,
They're
so
coming
now
in stealth.
yeah, some of them will show up that way, but that is, let's see, we've got Tina in the audience, Shauna, Ken. Oh, Gary Slickman is from Boston.
From Boston. Me
Yeah.
too.
Ken. Oh,
Houston,
hi, my buddy
Seabrook,
Ken. Hi, Shauna.
NYC.
Yeah. Shauna's from Seabrook. Oh,
Cool.
Neil. Boy, do we have a crowd today. Hi. He's from Carrollton. Carrollton, because y'all, Suzanne is not in Texas, so she doesn't know Carrollton's in Texas, I don't think. So good one, Neil. Tina, Malaysia. We have someone from
Wow,
Malaysia.
Malaysia. That's fantastic.
You are worldwide
Woo, woo,
popular,
woo, woo,
Suzanne.
woo, woo. I've
Woo,
been
we
to
got
Indonesia.
oh
I
man,
love it.
look at that.
Texas.
Woo, we
Wow.
got a crowd.
New York City. Awesome. Well, welcome. And you know what? This is really important because our world today, we talk about deposits and withdrawals. And we're under so much pressure to perform. There's so many things to do. There's so many distractions. It's really hard to gravitate and focus on your strengths. So I'm so glad people joined us, and we're going to do a lot of different exercises to help. And Lena, you said I was really accomplished. You know, I was in special education and I had done very well there, but I entered a brand new field and people thought it was all woo woo. And now, of course, executives have it all and people have it all over the country. And I think one thing that's really important is to focus on your mission.
Mm.
To focus on your mission. So whether it's getting a new job or, finding a partner in life or whatever it is, if we look down at what we don't have, we're going to focus on that. But say, I want this and I'm going to bring my all. That's one really big thing. And I wanted to get the word of coaching out, even though I got detractors. And seriously, I had worked for Judge Baker Guidance Center, which is part of Harvard University. And I have a Harvard University psychologist saying these coaches don't know what they're doing on TV. He didn't know I had a master's in counseling psychology. But I put that in perspective. And my coach at this time said, all publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. So let's all do an exercise.
Okay.
Oh, Yolanda is ready. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, S. Scott.
Scott,
But
he's amazing.
this topic gets me energized. So, Lena, I want
Uh-huh.
to ask you something. Well, I'm going to ask everybody else. If you don't
Okay.
mind putting in the chat, what do you do when people give you a compliment? Now, I usually hide out like this. No,
To
that's
when
that's what I used to do in the old days.
when
Seriously, I would be like,
when
"Oh, me? Oh, my dress isn't that nice,
oh,
right? I don't have energy." As Scott told me, I have energy. Now I say, "Thank you, Scott." What do you do in general? And by the way, no judgment. This is a no judgment zone. We're all at
mhm,
different levels. And still
there.
today, when I get a compliment, so many years later, billions of years later, I have to remind myself, what do you do when people give you a compliment?
See what they say. It's a good challenge. Oh. Oh.
Ooh. I like
I
that.
gotta show that
I
one.
just say thank you so much. Wow, we have an enlightened group here. And it's fine if you don't. Just say thank you. Okay, great. Excellent. Good. Wow. Okay, so
Martina
that's a
said she
really
could
good step.
relate.
Yeah. You used to shy
Oh.
away from compliments. Most people, Yolanda, most people would do that. So great. So I want to take this one step further, though. Okay, so Lena, if
Uh-huh.
I gave you a $20 bill, what would you do?
Say thank you.
You'd say thank you. And what if it was in your hot little hands? What would you do?
I would say thank you.
Okay. What do most people do if somebody gave you a $20 bill? What would you do with it?
Um, spend it, I guess, or give it away.
Spend it. Okay.
Yeah.
So all these great people, Gary said it might be uncomfortable to accept. Yes. I've had many people when I say, "Look, if I gave you a $20 bill," they'd say, "Oh, I wouldn't take it.
Keep
I
it.
didn't earn it."
Yeah.
Right? That's part of it. I didn't
Oh.
earn it. And with imposter syndrome, many people who are highly, highly skilled don't believe that they're competent because it comes easily. That's because it's your innate gift. So if you're not sweating really hard to demonstrate being articulate or organized or a good listener, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be proud of that. It's just your hardwiring.
Wow.
Yeah, does everybody think about that? Think about what you're hardwired to do and try to live in that space.
Wow.
Okay, cool. So spending, how do we spend a compliment? So I love that everybody's saying thank you. So how do we spend a compliment? We own it, right? If I'm going to spend this, I own my money, I own my positivity, and then I look for ways to spread it around. So does anybody do you would take it? Great.
Oh, you
Tina
get the
has
big
a boom,
boom.
boom, right? But
Yeah.
do we do that with our compliments? Yes, we say thank you, but let's go to the next level here. Okay. And many people, how many people here keep a gratitude journal? Which, by the way, is one of the most important things to keep you positive in life when life is so full of challenges.
Oh.
Right? Focusing on what you do have instead of what you don't have, which is so easy, right? We all have FOMO, fear of missing out, or the biggest sale, or this one's going on a
Right.
trip, or this one's
Right.
getting promoted. What do
Yeah.
we do? How could we spend a compliment?
Could we, give it away? Can we give it?
You could give it away. You could see, and by the way, oh, Lena, you are so spot on. So looking at the people that you admire informs us of really who we are. And so we wouldn't be looking for me. I love Oprah, duh, for years because I think she is helping people, right? And I did it on a national level.
Yeah.
I've done it on a worldwide level. I worked with Asia and Europe. So, but and I could never be Oprah, but looking at the qualities. So I want everybody to think about that. Think about the people you admire. All those qualities. Now, maybe you're shy, but you admire an extrovert. But that means that you have the potential, right? There's something in there that's saying, the deep knowledge voice inside is saying, I have potential to say something really articulate and interesting. Great. So I'm not seeing in the chat about what we would do. How could we spend a compliment?
It's a great question. Great question. Oh,
Oh,
ooh.
oh, you don't keep a gratitude journal. Honestly, if you go on Google, or if you give me your email, I'll send you one. If you go on Google and you download gratitude journal, you'll find that. But many people say this. So there's two things. You would give a compliment. Exactly. I would give a compliment. And then what I say to people when they say, oh, many of my clients come to me because they're not owning their strength. Rarely do. Well, sometimes they are, but they want a promotion, but they're not getting it. Right. So
Right.
I would say to them, if I gave you a $20 bill, would you throw it over your shoulder? And they would say, no. I said, I just gave you a compliment. Now, I'm pretty bold, right? I just gave you a compliment. Why are you tossing it away?
Wow. Wow.
So you could actually coach someone else, or you could say, hey, I went on this, podcast with this crazy coach, and she taught me to take in the compliment, but also spend it. Or what do we like to do with our money? Make it grow.
Yes.
Okay. So, but seriously, all you have to do, have a spot on your phone in the notes, have a place on your computer. And if you're having a really hard time, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Or at the end of the day, or even in the morning, if you want a little refresher, write down 3 things you're grateful for. That's how simple it is to keep a gratitude journal. Now, if you want to take it up a notch, a friend and I have been doing this for years. At night, before we go to bed, we text each other and we say, we talk about the compliments we might have gotten that day or where we used our strengths and our gratitude. So that's another. The happiest people in the world are people with millions of dollars. Is that true? No, that's right. Okay. Thank you, Gary, for that. The people that are happiest in the world, psychologists have shown us, are those people who can say, I did this well, and this well. So you could double it. Gratitude, yay, which really connects us more with our heart and what we're doing positively, gets us out of our head. But also, what are 3 things I did well today? What makes them uncomfortable, Gary? Heck if I know. No. It's our ego. Right. So we have our head and our heart. And we all know the times when, if we were graduating or getting a promotion, we see this on LinkedIn, or we had a birth of a child, or we baked a good cake or something. Right. We see people sometimes taking it in. If you're in your head, you're worrying about, oh, not really. And wow, I don't do that all the time. If you do it 60% of the time, it's a good skill set for you. Nobody does anything all of the time.
Wow.
So our ego gets in the way. Our ego is always telling us it's not enough. Scarcity, right? Oh, Suzanne, you did a great job. I was in the New York Times and I had a picture. I was one of the first coaches in the world to do this. I just looked at this picture. I'm in the New York Times and I'm with a client and I've got my hand up in this picture. And that looks like I'm saying stop, which coaches are all about, let's go. And I totally ruined that experience by looking at that hand picture. So thank you for that question, Gary. My mind was going to that hand picture instead of, oh my God, I'm in the New York Times sharing coaching with everybody. Does that make sense, everybody? So think about what you would say to a friend. So Lena, let me ask you something. All right. Is there, if you don't mind, scarcity mindset? Thank you. So, Lena, is there a compliment you've gotten recently that's kind of been hard to take in? Or
Um,
have you gotten negative feedback and you've been hard on yourself?
I I actually did have a really interesting compliment, and, the person said, and I'm almost embarrassed to say this, seriously, but they looked straight at me and they said, "You have a perfect nose." And I had to take a second and I said, "Why, thank you." However, it really was hard, and do you know what I thought about for 2 days and looked in the mirror about this close to? I was like, "No, it's not possible. They needed glasses." I was really, um and then at the same time, I was like, "That is one of the I've never had that kind of compliment. I've never recognized my nose." So, I've had to work hard to flip that switch and just think, "Wow, that was so super nice."
Wonderful. And again, good self-coaching, right? Good self-coaching. However, then you were looking at your nose later. That's the ego.
Yeah.
So I want everybody, if you don't mind, to put in the chat a compliment you had recently. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. Sorry, spring allergies. Mm. A compliment somebody gave you recently.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in the chat. Resent. Awesome. This is fantastic. I feel like we're getting, like, full-blown coaching, and you're already blowing my mind completely, Suzanne. I absolutely love
Oh,
it.
thank you. Well, that's,
Wonderful.
you say blowing your mind. That's what coaching, a lot of coaching is changing your mindset. Oh,
Oh,
your hot pink dress at a networking event last night. Woohoo! Okay. You are thoughtful. Oh, brilliant, brilliant to be thoughtful in today's rush society, right? Caring and showing that you care about people. Huge. And by the way, what does that do for all of us, right? All of us. We get in that positive mindset.
here's one.
Yeah, Neil, I hear that. See, that's the problem with our environments. We get a compliment, which actually, by the way, when I teach management classes, I will say, first give a compliment. But then I would say, Neil, I would say to you, I would be specific about the job. I would say, Neil, excellent job collating all the information and making a succinct report. And it would be great if you could also add this instead of do this, this, and this. But Neil, let's focus in on what was your compliment. Gary Slickman, very patient. Good, Gary. We're gonna keep you on till 10 o'clock today.
We've tried them patience.
Anybody else?
Suzanne, I think Neil had that's a great point at what Neil's saying, especially for job seekers, getting into that
Hmm.
career, it can be so challenging to always feel like you are never quite measuring up, the good job, but, instead of, like you're saying, that from a real leadership, what a wonderful way to, empower someone and say that you're doing a good job and let's do this. And
Right.
what a wonderful way to bring them into the conversation than to have a conversation at them. I love that so much. It's
Yeah. Okay. So
just
Neil,
what I needed
this
to
is a
work on.
great example of what we do. You're not spending the compliment. And it's natural. And look, I still do it. I've been teaching this for years. So I don't remember the specific. All right, Neil. So let's say, Neil, are you organized? And it's fine if you're not, because I'm not very organized. What's something somebody has said to you that is true? And let's all use this, right? Whatever your,
Mm.
But instead of but, that's right. Don't say but, Gary. Exactly. Say, and how could we work on this maybe to get more of an executive summary, right? Or how could we
Yeah.
work on this so that we're really taking in the customer's feedback, right? Or our stakeholders.
I think
Yes.
yes is
Neil
organized
is
thinking.
organized. Okay. So when you start going down that negative, blah, 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 no disrespect, you were doing it with your beautiful nose, right? We were taking that. So I want you to think about what would you say to a friend? So Lena, let's pretend I'm like somebody said, I have a really beautiful nose, which I hate my nose, but right? Oh yeah, what happened to S. Scott? You were like chatting away. So let's say, and then later on, I told her, I said, Lena, they said I had a beautiful nose, but you know what? I'm looking in the mirror and I'm wondering, and I'm sticking my finger up the nose. No, I'm just kidding. What would you say to me as a good friend about my nose?
I would say, I agree. I think you have a wonderful nose. It's amazing. And what a great compliment to get. I
Okay,
wouldn't
so
want you to criticize your nose.
then why would you do it to yourself?
Oh, such a good point.
So think about that. Would I say that to a good friend or family member? It is so easy. But we want to be strength supporters. It is easy. But here's a way to overcorrect that. There's something to work on. I do not believe it because there is always something to improve on. It's true. It's certainly true. But if you keep improving on something, you're not going to own your strengths in the moment. And if you go on a job interview, if you go into a tough conversation, if you go have dinner with a friend who's having a hard time and you're not owning your strengths, you're not giving your best. So think about that. Owning your strength has to give the best to the world, but also what about your self-esteem? So Neil, if you are organized and somebody says that and your brain goes, there's always something to work on, think about that. Just hold that strength and maybe write it down. And then notice where you're demonstrating that strength through the day. Where are you demonstrating that? And that will help you own that strength. And if you're organized, remember 60% and it's a strength. If you're not organized, you get home and I don't know, your kitchen's a wreck and it doesn't matter, then that's fine. So spend that strength, document it and spend it. And notice where you're doing it. And that can be your nightly ritual too. That's what my friend and I do.
I can tell you, Suzanne, Neil is brilliant. He's super smart, very organized, highly talented. So I want you to remember that, Neil. I know this. I know this about you. He is highly organized and just well spoken all the way around. So I want you to hold that today, Neil, and go in a great way for sure.
Wonderful. So where are my compliments here? Where did S. Scott
Hmm.
go? Are you seeing compliments in the chat? I'm not quite seeing them.
I
Where are
just
your
saw
compliments?
Tina. We saw Yolanda, we saw Neil. We talked about Gary's patience. Yeah.
All right. So
Let's see if we
again,
got anything there.
focus on your strengths.
Yeah. Yeah.
Focus on your strengths. How do I spend that? And self-talk. Self-talk. So Yolanda, think about, right? If somebody gave you a compliment, that you're thoughtful, and then later on you said, oh, I forgot to bring coffee to her, right? Or I forgot to text someone back. What would you say to a friend if you were doubting yourself or putting yourself down? We need to be friends to ourselves to hold on to our strengths. Right? So
Yeah.
course correct.
Mhm.
Would you mind putting that in the chat?
Course correct.
Course correct. Self-coach. Slap yourself in the face a little bit. Oops. Oh, the feed has been going in and out. Sorry.
Okay.
I was asking you, Yolanda, you are thoughtful, but then you're not owning and spending that strength. Course correct, right? Self-coach, self-talk. That is a tough one. But you know what? It's a muscle that you work, right? You notice where you're being negative. You can say the opposite. So Lena could say, I have a beautiful nose. Or she could say, would I tell a friend that? That's one of my most powerful tools. Would I say to a friend, you have an ugly nose or you have a weird nose? Would you ever say that, Lena?
No, no.
Oh, right? And so you would probably say to that friend, you have a lovely nose. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I that's a that's a really easy aha moment in a sense of saying, what would you say to your friend? And I've not thought about it that way, but what a lovely way to take the talk away from the mirror and put it outward. And whatever you're saying in that mirror, would you say it? And what a great test to start with, like, to start the day, especially getting ready, getting in the mirror, putting the, doolally on, all the things, and to say, okay, and instead of going, oh, your hair doesn't look right, oh, this, oh, that, you know, and then get out the door and see your coworkers, your friends, and say, man, your hair looks great today, or hey, man, your shirt looks amazing. You look great in that color. What a way to turn it around. I think that's just a just a beautiful, beautiful, um, it's more than a tip. Let's just say that. I don't even know the word for it right now, but it's just what a way to get us out of ourselves. That's amazing.
Wonderful. Thank you. See, I'm going to say thank you.
Yeah.
You're right. We are always so hard on ourselves. And it is, Gary, this is an exercise. It's like ballet or soccer or mastering, the art of drawing something, right? We really want to work on this and notice it, right? And another thing you could do is you could write down all the things you say about the negative things you say about yourself, or for Neil's case, all the things somebody said, right? There's always more and more, better, better, better. That's our ego. That's not our wise self talking. But
Right.
then ask yourself, is it true? Is it true? You're right. We are our own worst critics, and don't listen to those people who are not supporting you. Think of many people will put you down. I have a whole program about this, specifically for women that are being mistreated, misaligned, not appreciated, right? And bullied in the workplace. And they're believing these people who are less than themselves. They don't believe the critics in your life. I mean, if it's somebody that's right, you wouldn't say that, Ken. But also don't believe, that's another thing that has taken me years, right? There have been some people who couldn't see my gift. I'm kind of loud, I'm energetic, I'm moving around. I'm a big personality, but my coach taught me that on TV and to inspire people, it's okay to be a big personality. So notice the people, right? Isn't it?
Suzanne, you just gave me a whole lot of relief today.
Tell me why.
Wow. I mean, because I feel like I mean, I kind of get all
Yeah.
excited and all, and I mean, here and there I've been poo-pooed, like, you're a little bit energetic, or you're, a little too peppy and things like that. And it's like, well, I'm kind of peppy for myself because, I don't want to just go wallow in mud. I mean, but it's easy to get poo-pooed. I love that you speak to that. Um, wow. Wow. Just
Yes.
blowing my mind today.
That's right. So, A, would you say that to yourself? And B, is it true? Right? And ask people about that. Ask people that care about you, your inner circle of people who care. Hey, am I sloppy? Am I messy? Am I that? Right? Toxic miss. I
Yeah.
love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And you know what? If you're shy, by the way, and you're an introvert, our world, the United States is into extroverts. So don't judge yourself. And by the way, we extroverts look like we have it all going on. We do not. Yes. But there's a
Yes.
value in being a good listener. We don't, introverts, we don't have enough people who listen. So think about that. Think about that space that you create. There's always a blessing and a curse for everything, right?
Right.
So thank you so much. Oh my God, having you all in the chat and participating just energizes me. And thank you, Lena, for being able to share your ahas with everybody because I think it's helped everybody else.
That's amazing. Oh no, thank you, Suzanne. I am I do not want to let you go whatsoever because it's just I think that we could talk about this for a long time, or at least I would love for you to talk about it for a really long time. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna be ruminating on all this. Aha. Um, if you got a minute?
Me?
Yeah.
Of course.
Awesome. I want to go over time a minute because you touched on something in this amazing energy, but it's really important because we have these lovely women and our conversation. I mean, I was just, oh, I just want to reach through that screen and like sit next to you and spend the afternoon because you talked about bullying and dealing with it and people that deal with it, the pain, I mean, just all the things, and yet here you are full of energy, life, goodness, great, uh, I insights for us, and how did those how did that come together? How did all of that walk through?
Well, I've been bullied since I was about 5 years old. My father was in World War II, so that means I'm old. No, but he was in World War II. They didn't know about PTSD, and he was angry and had all these trauma things. And so I've been bullied since I was 6 in the corporate workplace, in my personal life. But I've learned about the bullies and how insecure they are and why maybe my bright light is threatening them.
Mm,
And I've also learned that if I may say so, my bright light, right,
yeah,
it's important to share that with people to energize and motivate them. I want to inspire people.
yeah,
So I've made sure to try to keep that. And I think it is my nature, but I've made sure to try to keep that because I know that it helps other people. Again, my mission is to bring this energy. And when people come to a job search with me, they're like, ooh, right? I can help them focus on their strengths, right? And I've had coaches who help me focus on my strengths when the bullies have said, oh, you don't know what you're doing, or people don't like this, or whatever. By the way, read your references, read what people say. I've got LinkedIn references saying I'm an amazing coach and trainer. I read those to remind myself so I can keep my energy up. But you always will have detractors. You always will have people that's like, oh, this crazy woman, I give money out in my trainings, right? Oh, this crazy woman. Well, the crazy woman doesn't have to have everybody like her, but there's a group that likes my energy. Does that make sense? Not everybody's going to like what you bring. Hold on to it.
yeah.
And if you're being bullied, there are so many. If you're being bullied, get a hold of me, SuzanneBlake.com. I will just give you a free consultation because my partner and I created this because we don't have enough people. Corporation to people are bullying you. They're high level energy people. They're in power.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are threatened by them and your colleagues may not know. No disrespect. I've been in HR. HR may have their hands tied. But there are plenty of supports for people who are being mistreated in the workplace. We focus mostly on women because they have a tendency not to report it. So maybe at the future, we'll do a podcast on what do you do if you're being bullied?
I would love that. I would love that. I would
Right?
love that. I think that would be
Yes.
amazing. I would amazing. So if you could not tell anyone, if you had limitations on a one sentence of what you would want someone to be able to walk away with in their day that would make a difference, what would that be?
Keep a running list of your strengths and think about if you would say the negative things you're saying to yourself to a friend or a family member. That's what I would say. Spend those strengths, document them, share them, but don't listen to that negative voice. That's 2 sentences, but I'm a very I'm a very talkative person.
It was one long
One long
paragraphical
sentence, yeah.
sentence. Wonderful, wonderful. Man, this is great. I am just over the moon, and I think that you have done an amazing job to help our audience walk through some things, share, and be a part of it. I can't wait to write about this as well, and certainly can't wait to. I want to do that. I don't. I want to do the next podcast. I think that'd be fantastic.
Yay, let's do
I
it and
love
help
it.
people. Yes.
Um, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time that you would spend with us and just empower us with so many thoughtful words and thoughtful actions. And so, audience, I say take this with you, make your day better, brighter. I want to thank you all for coming to this today. What a great we had a crowd. And I also want to say this to these wonderful people that showed up. You are all special. You matter. I think I know every single one of you, and I can speak to that you are all really cool, wonderful people. So if you need to hear that again, you can call me. But I just know that for a fact. And then I've got you, Suzanne, so wonderful to share this with us. I'm going to ask you when we're done to put your information in the chat so that people can contact you and find out how to also work with you, talk with you, meet with you, and connect with you. Okay. Thank you
Thank you.
so
And
much.
Lena, could you do that with me? Because I'm having trouble.
We
Just
have to do it on the LinkedIn side, not in the
okay.
private chat. So
Okay.
I
But
will.
I'm having trouble with the LinkedIn. Would you mind? And
I don't.
my name, if you go to SuzanneBlake.com, that's the best way to find out more information. You can set up a complimentary session. There is no pressure to work with me. I'd love to do that. And thank you, Lena, for bringing so many people together. And, I told you this would be a popular topic because so many of us are not grounded in our strengths.
So true.
And
So
thank you
true.
for everybody. It was great meeting everybody too.
Meeting. I love that. Yeah. For sure. Everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you again, Suzanne. This was fantastic. And hey, we're going to do it again really soon. We'll talk to y'all later.
Bye. Have a great strengths filled